Noise department.
Well, we should try some Roseade on air.
I'm excited because it's cold.
We call it the ultimate day drink.
This is absolutely the ultimate day drink.
It's
wow.
I mean, in Vegas, where the weather's nice, 9 months out of the year, it's, tailgates, pool parties, kids' soccer games. This helps. Trust me. any kids' sports.
Any kids.
This is Thirst Trap, a beverage industry podcast, and I'm your host, Tracy Bradley.
Today I have a very special guest with me whom I haven't seen in way too long. His name is Karl Ziegler, and he's one of the co-founders of Roseade.
Hey, Tracy.
Hey, Karl. How you doing?
Good. It's been like pre-pandemic and beyond.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's been way too long. Good to see you.
So what's going on?
Well, I jumped in with both feet went full entrepreneur. When lockdown hit, I got laid off from my national sales position, and I had this company, the framework built out to where I was importing some wine, wholesaling some wine in California.
Mm-hmm. And
when I got laid off, I just immediately pivoted and started brokering wine. I had a lot of contacts from wineries that were on-premise focused. So I reached out to them and said, hey, can I help you sell your wines to retail? And they said, yes, please. So I had a great year in 2020.
That's awesome.
I had a really good year in 2020.
It was a good pivot.
It was. So I just didn't ever look back and started working that company is called Concurrent Wine and Spirits.
Okay.
And then while I was doing that, I had discovered Roseade back in 2018 when the guy who created it in Australia very randomly started following me on Instagram.
Oh, cool.
He had no idea who I was. I had hashtag Roseade on a post.
Uh-huh.
And so he started following me. And once I saw that icon of the lemon with the sunglasses, I was like, okay, what is this? And then I clicked on over to the page and saw it was rosé wine and lemonade spritzer. I'm like, well, that sounds delicious.
Right.
I mean, who doesn't like lemonade? And everybody loves rosé. And it's just, has a little spritz to it. So he and I started talking, and he sent me some samples, and I loved the product. At that point, they were in bottles, mm-hmm. and it didn't pencil at all in terms of importing it and selling it.
Okay.
So eventually we landed on cans.
Okay.
And then once 2020 hit and I had more time to focus on it, his name is Lee Smallman, and he and I really buckled down and figured out a way to get it done. And we landed our first container in March of 2021.
So awesome.
Yeah, we're about 2.5 years in at this point.
Okay.
It's going really well. Still a struggle. I mean, my roots are in Vegas. I went to UNLV, and when I graduated, I went to work for Southern Wine and Spirits. So I worked for Southern for the first 6 years of my career as a sales rep. And then I was here for a total of 12 years. And then I probably about 3 or 4 years too long in hindsight. And I moved back to California. And once I was back in LA, I started my career on the supplier side of the business. So I worked for several different companies on the supplier side.
Didn't you work for Klein?
I did. Yeah. My first gig was with a company called Allied Demec, which had brands like Clos du Bois, Callaway, Gary Farrell, Mumm Champagne, Perrier Jouet Champagne. So it was a great company. They sold to Beam and Pernod Ricard.
Okay.
In 2005. After that, I went to work for Klein.
Okay.
So I worked for Klein for about 6-7 years. And then when we met was when I went to work for
Lang Twins
and Oatly, Robert Oatly.
Yeah.
And they were with Johnson Brothers. And that's how we met. We had to work with together. Yeah, we did some damage.
I can tell you, I don't know if Lang Twins wines are still around, but those were some of my favorite wines ever, especially that caricature red blend.
Yeah, that was fun. I think they're still around. In fact, one of the sons he just connected with me on LinkedIn, and I've been meaning to reach out.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, they're a huge operation. They have a massive facility for vinifying and crushing grapes and making wine. And they farm a ton of vineyards in the Lodi area too. So
Yeah, I
they're
remember
definitely still
their
around.
story. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I can't. After that, I went to work for a company called Terroir. They own some great brands: Coupe, Mayacamas, um, Sandy, Evening Land, Leviathan, like just some really great wines. And
Mhm.
it was great because it really kind of reinvigorated me in like the fine wine side of things. I'd been kind of playing in like the lower end tier for
Mhm.
a few years, and it was nice to get back to premium, selling premium. That ended unfortunately when the owner went to prison for it was some sort of embezzlement or mail fraud, something like that.
Oh, geez.
And so I had to move on from there
Yeah.
because they didn't last much longer after that. And yeah, then ended up the last job I had was national sales manager for Mount Beautiful Winery, which is a New Zealand property.
Mhm.
And so that was a good gig, fun. Still do a lot of work with those guys. I sell in California. I wholesale two of the brands that they import. So yeah, it's been an interesting ride to say the least.
Yeah. I think it's been interesting for all of us,
Yeah,
especially, but I'm so happy that especially during the pandemic lockdown that you thrived. That
yeah,
really makes me happy.
yeah. It was. In hindsight, it was kind of fool's gold because I was getting the money from the government for unemployment, and I had all this access to all this wine and was selling all this. So the following year was a completely different business model. I mean, entirely different.
That's
So
awesome.
I had to pivot to more of just a traditional importer. Did do some brokering of some wines. I've been pivoting so much, I feel like a ballerina. To be honest, it's been.
Plie?
I mean, it's just it's been pretty crazy. Now I feel like I'm on firmer footing
Mhm.
because I have a real kind of we're now importing spirits as well as wine. So that's an additional revenue stream for concurrent. And I've taken on a partner named Craig Demko who helps me out. You know, we're a good team on that side of things. And then on Roseade, my wife, Victoria, she and I actually met at Allied Domecq back in 2005. We were both working there.
Oh, cool.
And so we had like a little, it was actually kind of fortuitous that they bought the company and she went to work for Jim Beam and they laid me off so we could actually start dating. Like,
Oh, okay.
so in that case, it worked out really well. So she and I have been working on Roseade together since day one, pretty much. She's incredibly passionate about it. And she has a pretty, impressive career herself. She worked for Gallo and did like event marketing. So
Mhm.
she's got a, she did some really cool stuff at the Hollywood Bowl. And then she worked for Beam, like I said. And then she worked for Bacardi
Oh,
and
nice.
got some great experience there. So
Mhm.
she's, as far as brand building and marketing, she's a huge part of what we're doing. And yeah, so we're now in 16, 17 states with Roseade. And we just hit $500,000 in sales lifetime. So over the last 2.5 years, we've done 500,000, and that's about 10,000 cases. So we're on our way. It's still a struggle every day. Um, Owning a brand is so much more difficult than just working for someone. It's like it's been an eye opening experience for sure. It's just you never have enough money. You always it's like you always have to be looking for that next investor.
Mhm.
And that's something I wasn't prepared for going in. So there's one piece of advice I can offer to anybody that's, wants to start a brand or get into the business is be very aware that you're going to have to raise money. It's absolute necessary part of being an entrepreneur. You have to understand how that
Yeah.
works. And yeah, that's been the most challenging part for sure. Sales and marketing, Victoria and I, we have that down cold, but yeah, this was the hardest part. Continues to be, but we've gotten a lot better. We're starting to figure it out. The pitch deck and the science of the pitch deck are something that we spend an inordinate amount of time on.
I'm in pitch deck mode currently
Oh, so
with
yeah,
my new job. Yeah, trying to get it perfect so I can go present,
yeah, it's
get a distributor.
and then when you talk to different VC guys, they all have an opinion about what you need to change about your deck.
Mhm.
And so it's like, okay, who do you listen to? Who do you not? Who do you basically just say, yeah, go pound sand? I like the way my deck looks now. I don't really care what you have to say. You didn't invest. So it's just, yeah, the pitch deck chronicles.
Yeah.
That could be a whole new,
The pitch deck chronicles.
it could be like a whole new podcast. Well, we should try some Roseade on air.
I'm excited because it's cold.
Yes, it is cold.
Backstory is I've only tried this one other time, and it was on my birthday, 2021, at Silver Stamp.
Right.
And
which was one of our first accounts.
yes, and because you told me, hey, it's your birthday. I see you're at Silver Stamp. Make sure that you try a Roseade. So I did, but it wasn't cold.
So you can always drink it on ice.
It was warm.
It's much better cold.
Yes.
Perfect. We call it the ultimate day drink.
This is absolutely the ultimate day drink. Wow.
I mean, in Vegas, where the weather's nice, 9 months out of the year, it's, tailgates, pool parties, kids' soccer games. This helps. Trust me. Any kids' sports.
Any kids. Does your kid do sports?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah, he's a soccer player.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to play volleyball this year too.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a really good surfer.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
But Roseade it's made from, well, originally my partner Lee was making it in Australia, and then we were shipping it up to California, and that quickly became a problem during the shipping crisis of 2021, 2022. We were actually out of stock our first summer for, a month and a half. And so in 2022, we started making it in California. So I found a source for really good premium rosé. Victoria and I solicited different lots of rosé and tasted through all of them. And our standard was, if we won't drink it, we're not going to put it in Roseade. So we found a really good source. And actually, now we have an even better source who invested in Roseade by pledging to give us 10,000 gallons of wine as his investment. Nice. So our next two runs are going to be very profitable. Thanks to Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yes. So and the quality of the wine is fantastic. It's all coming out of Lodi, which is where business gets done in California.
Yes.
The Central Valley. I'm
a huge fan of Lodi.
I mean, it's the people these guys, they know what's up. They've been doing it for years. There's no pretense. It's like, let's just go get this done. So I love working down there with the people that we're working with.
Lodi is my favorite Zinfandel destination.
Oh, yeah. That's actually the base of most of the rosé that we get is Zinfandel.
Nice. Maybe that's why I'm enjoying this so much.
So then we use high quality rosé. Then we use fresh lemon juice from Bakersfield area, and then we just add some sugar and some water. And so before we can it, we use the Charmant method to get the spritz, and we can it. So it's all natural ingredients. There's no artificial flavors or colors. It's all natural. I mean, the specs are pretty good too. It's only 145 calories per can, but it's 8% alcohol. So that's why that, most of these seltzers are like 4%. Mm-hmm. So they're like 100 calories. So you can see where It actually still is not too egregious in the caloric intake world. And then 6 grams of sugar and like 10 carbs per can. So
Okay.
it's you can feel good about drinking 4 or 5 of them.
I feel good drinking this one right now.
Yeah, me too.
So you said you do the what method?
It's the Charmat method. So it's the way they put bubbles in Prosecco. So they bubble it up from the stone at the bottom of the tank.
Mhm.
And then it's
I mean, I know what that is. I don't think that our listeners maybe
okay. Well,
knew what that was. So I just wanted you
okay.
to
Is that a good
elaborate a
enough?
little.
Is that a
Yeah,
good enough explanation?
absolutely.
Because I don't know
Yes.
how much better, how
Yeah,
much
I
deeper
mean,
I can go.
unless you want to go in a deep dive about champagne and sparkling wines and the whole thing. But yeah, I think we
No,
can
it is
maybe
not.
shelf that one for another time.
Okay, so we're not going to talk about the method champenois.
No, we
Okay,
don't have to.
I can give you 10 minutes on it if you
Right.
want.
And I could give you also.
I'm
so,
sure you could.
Yeah.
You know, I do import champagne, so if we want to do a champagne episode, we can definitely do that.
I think that we need to have more wine on here. Like
Okay.
so far, so we're recording episode 7 today. And we had a mezcal and a Taiwanese whiskey.
Ooh, intriguing.
It was so good. Right. Not smoky at all. Just real
Was it more like a scotch?
no, it wasn't scotchy
Really?
like you'd think, an Asian whiskey would be.
Mhm.
No, not scotchy at all. No peat. It was just you got some good stone fruit in there.
Interesting.
It was so good. And the mezcal was amazing too. And then the second episode was mocktails.
Mhm.
And then it's been very beer centric,
Right.
except for the last episode. She introduced us to Jinro.
Okay, the
Yeah.
sochu.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. The world's largest selling spirit, right?
Yes. So that was a good
I
episode.
think I learned that from the Thirst Trap, actually.
You did?
Yeah.
All right. Well, cheers to that.
Cheers.
So one thing that we always like to ask
Mm-hmm.
is your gateway alcoholic beverage, something that you remember from a childhood. If you have a childhood memory, a funny story, you know, what your beverage of choice was in college, teenage years, whatever.
So my first memory of drinking was my father would let me sip his Coors when I was sitting on his lap, and I was
Okay.
probably, 6 or 7 or something like that. So that I remember tasting beer for that first time because it was such a unique flavor. When you're a kid, you don't taste anything like that. You're drinking juice and stuff. So to taste something that was more bitter, and I was intrigued. And I can't say that I loved it at at that age, but I was intrigued because of the flavor. Like I was always kind of into the idea of different flavors, and I was pretty adventurous as a kid about eating different things, and I just always have been really curious about you know things that tasted unique. So I remember drinking my dad's Coors was the first for sure, but I think the first time I ever bought anything, it was Strawberry Hill, Boone's Farm,
Oh yeah.
at a mini market in Redondo Beach that would sell to anybody. I think I was probably about 14 or 15.
Yep. Strawberry Hill, Boone's Farm was a fan favorite in high school for me. With one of my very best friends to this day. Her name is Barry Lynn. She's currently residing in Guanajuato, Mexico,
Nice.
and I need to go there
Yes, you do.
and bring her some of this Roseade because she would love it.
There's one thing I need to mention, and I don't want to be a downer, but I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't
I
mention
think
it.
that you should mention it. Yes.
So I mentioned my co-founder of Roseade USA, Lee Smallman.
Mhm.
So, like I said, he and I connected on Instagram back in 2018. And then after we got going, I realized that I really wanted to have, some ownership of this brand because it was going to be I was going to be doing so much of the work on it.
The heavy lifting.
And Lee was completely thought that was a great idea. He never really had any idea that he would sell it outside of Mornington Peninsula, where he's from. So this idea of selling in the United States was just like blew his mind. And so we had this incredible relationship. And unfortunately, he was diagnosed with cancerous brain tumor in January of 2022. And doctor gave him 6 months to live. And he fought, man, he fought hard. And his attitude was always positive. But we finally lost him last week.
Yeah, I saw that.
And we're going to carry on this brand in his honor. And his family is, his father and his older brother are going to get involved and continue to help us, especially with sales in Australia. So yeah, tough time, but we feel like we're going to carry on in his honor.
And that's what he would have wanted.
Oh,
absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
He wouldn't want just everything to come to a screeching halt.
No.
He wants you to go forward and thrive.
Yeah, this is his legacy. Yeah. So yeah, for sure. There's no way we're going to stop now.
We owe it to him.
100%.
So cheers to Lee.
Cheers to Lee. Okay,
we mentioned Silver Stamp was one of your very first accounts here on premise. Mm-hmm. Where else would you recommend somebody go to find this delicious beverage?
I know they have it at Tommy Rocker's.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
Yep. Over by the Rio.
Yeah.
That's still, oh, wow.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in a minute.
That's where we did our kickoff meeting with Nevada Beverage, and the manager tried it, loved it, so brought it in.
That's good.
You can always buy it off of our website, roseadeusa.com. And
that's ROSEADE USA.com.
And yeah, those ship out of California, so usually we receive it within 3 or 4 days.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, so that's probably the easiest way. But yeah, there's keep an eye out for it. It's or check out the website. Check out our Instagram is at Roseade USA. Mm-hmm. It's fun. There's lots of interaction on the Instagram page, and we always have some positive vibes flowing from those posts. And yeah, you can always message me through the Instagram page, and I will be able to direct you to some accounts.
I love that you're with Nevada Beverage.
Yeah, so it's actually funny. My guy that was one of my customers when I was a rep for Southern Wine and Spirits, he was the buyer at P.F. Chang's at the Aladdin, Adam Gunty.
Oh.
And so Adam and I have known each other.
I had no idea that Adam worked at the Aladdin. Okay, I'm learning new things.
He worked for P.F. Chang's.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
He was my buyer at the Aladdin, and we've stayed friends over the years. And we when I decided we needed to have a new distributor in Nevada, reached out to Adam, and he was incredibly supportive.
That's awesome.
Had a ton of belief in the brand, and he and Mark are just great guys to work with. Mm-hmm. We're plotting for next year, which is that's when we're really going to launch. Is as we roll into 2024, we want to get out to some pools for next summer, and yeah, get into the Total Wines of the world and the Lees of the world for sure.
Well, I'm happy to help in any way that I can possibly help you. I'm happy to do it.
I love that.
I'm just thrilled to see you and hang out with you today and have you finally on the pod.
This was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's very easy.
I feel like I might have monopolized the conversation, so I apologize.
That's all about this. No, you're the guest.
Okay.
You're supposed to monopolize the conversation. That's how this works.
All right.
I chime in every here and there.
All right. I think we did what we were supposed to.
I think we did.
All right.
But I'm so happy that you came.
It was my pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
My first wine-based product on the pod.
Love it.
Is you.
I love it.
I love it too.
Awesome.
Well,
thanks,
cheers,
Tracy.
Friend. Cheers.
Great to see you.
I'm Tracy Bradley, and that's the Thirst Trap Podcast, produced and edited by Gonzo Greg Spillane for Noise Department. Our theme music is composed and performed by Jose Torres. Please like and subscribe wherever you enjoy your podcasts, and share with your friends and associates in the beverage industry, or anybody who drinks things. You can always visit and contact me at thirsttrappodcast.com, and you can find links to all the socials there as well. Till next time, cheers.